morning, it's Patricia at Book Expo America. I'm here with author Colm Toibin, who has a new book coming out called Nora Webster. Can you tell us a little bit about your book?
Yeah, it's set in provincial Ireland in the late 1960s, early 1970s. It arises from being a child and listening to adults talking and realizing that they're never talking about what they really want to talk about. That often there's some big subject which they won't mention while they talk on about everything else. And that gap between what people really want to say and what they actually say. And so as a child, I watched this a great deal. And the novel explores that relationship in a time of difficulty. I mean, it's a household where the father has died and the mother is young and bringing up her children. And it's an effort to rebuild her life, where there's a great deal of silence and there's a great deal of talk about things that nobody really cares about. So it's a novel that explores the distance between those two things, between what you feel and what you actually say.
Right, so it sounds like you have two different voices, sort of you have the child's voice and then the parent's voice. Is the story told in one or the other?
Yeah, the story is told entirely from the mother's point of view. But what I'm talking about is having been there as a child myself, watching that, so that I know it. So it isn't, what I wanted to do, I suppose, was try and get a seamlessness where it isn't two stories. You're in one mind and one mind only throughout the book, and you're watching someone trying to rebuild her life.
So your characters usually have a very strong personality, a very strong persona. Where do you get the inspiration for Nora Webster?
Well, I think that you begin really with an idea or a memory or something, an image, and then it moves almost of its own accord into rhythm. And it's the rhythm that then starts to give you a sense that if the next sentence, and you just keep adding to saying, is this sentence, not only is this sentence true, but does it work rhythmically with the other sentences? And so you build very, very slowly in the same way as a painter might build, just brush stroke by brush stroke, rather than having some sort of overall thing that you know from the beginning.
Right. So is there any other authors that influence your writing or influence the way you perceive your characters?
Well, I think somebody like Henry James has been very important for me in the way that he will explore a single psychology and stay within that person's mind and allow that person to have a great amount of very deep feeling and serious feeling and will attempt to write as well as possible. So he's been very important for me, as have a number of Irish writers of the 20th century, including someone like James Joyce has been very important for me.
Yeah, so it sounds like you really imbibe your characters. You really try to understand their perspective. You really put yourself in their position. Is there a process that you have in terms of just when you're writing, where you tend to write, or what kind of environment you like to have when you're writing?
Well, I write in longhand. I write with this. And I think I'm one of the last who uses actual ink.
Wow.
And a hard chair is a great help. You know those modern office chairs that you can swivel around in and that suit your back? They're no use to you if you're trying to really get things down. So a hard chair, a pen, silence, and you need a lot of time.
Ooh, that sounds really heavy. Well, great. Thank you so much for your tips, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.